it's time for an update on Lupus. And I don't have the best mic. I can't find the MIDI cable for my normal one, so just you're gonna have to deal with my iPhone quality. Well, there's an update because there's been more things to cover, and yeah, we're gonna go over some of it. Some of it I'm not gonna speak on, and I'll just leave links in the description. And I'll just mention it briefly and show images on the screen. And other things I will go through and talk about. So, firstly, I do want to go over Lupus parents have been threatening to sue people. I get suing over death threats. I get suing over false claims and saying they're true. But the thing is, people haven't been making false claims and such that are baseless. They have proof to go along with it. This person, it was not sent to me. It was sent to a person asking for a refund. And what they got back was from Lupus's email. And it says, "Hello, person. I am one of Lupus' parents, and I'm responding because of the cyberbullying and attack is so severe that we are taking care of her business. Of course, you know, the accusations are drummed up by haters who feel, in light of the current cultural climate, that they have the right to viciously attack someone. I don't agree with people sending death threats. I don't agree with the harassment. But when it comes to just claims and proof to go along with it, it's not slander when you have the proof there. It's not false accusations when you have the proof there. It's false when you debunk it, but again, that hasn't happened yet. So going on, they say it is slander, and then they say which is a civil offense, which with legal recourse pay damages for business losses, etc., etc. If we have to take legal action on her behalf and reclaim damages for the parties who instigated this, we will. But out of care for her genuine love of this group, we are holding off for now. She has forgiven them, in spite of their relentless attacks and defamation." Which, again, you wouldn't really have a valid case here. If I'm honest, it doesn't sound like it. Like, again, to those harassing her and throwing out insults and telling her to kill herself, yes, you do. Definitely take action on that. Definitely do. That's horrible. But for people just showing proof and stuff, that is not defamation or slander, unless it's fake, which it's not. From what we can tell, it's not. And then she goes on, "That being said, this mob has caused her to not be able to earn presently, goddamn, I can't speak. So her refund will take 60 plus days. She wants to pay the people who have been bullied into canceling their orders. Not your fault that this is happening, but from a parent who cares, I'll just say to you to be careful on the internet, friend. From LupisVulpes parents." And this makes me a bit confused. I'm gonna be honest. It's a bit weird that at the beginning they say it's one of them, and at the bottom it says it's both the parents, but that's just nitpicky. I'm kind of suspicious of any emails like this or claims like this, because you never know if they're true or not. I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, even though it's coming from this email, that it's her parents. But yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to cover. And that was, yeah, good luck with that. I'm just saying, I don't think you're gonna get very far with that, but I'm just hoping this doesn't turn into a slap suit case. And then, here's one of the posts from 2015. I'll put it on the screen now, if I remember, which I'm sure I will. I may have the memory of a goldfish, but I will listen to this again, and I'll make sure I put it there. I saw before, in 2015, that she was accused of being homophobic. And we saw all this proof, not like proper proof. We just saw like a bunch of people on both sides saying, "Oh, this is true. Yes, it's true." And then some people were saying, "Let her believe what she wants, even if she doesn't support gays." And then the other group was like, "You can't do this. Like, that's discrimination," which it is. But I'm not going to get into that. I've covered some of that stuff in the last video, so I don't need to go over everything from that. And she made an apology, not an apology, sorry. She didn't make an apology. She made a clarification post on Tumblr, I believe. And it's really weird. Tumblr from August 13th, 2015. It says, hey guys, I'd like to thank you for the support as well as coming and trying to help me feel better. You guys are really the sweetest, thank you so much. So I guess that was after she deactivated. I figured you guys deserve an explanation of what is or was going on with me for well a while now, and why I deactivated my account a few days ago, which I'm assuming you got DeviantArt because this was posted on Tumblr. First off, no, she said she didn't delete because of the drama about Cora on there, or the people that were spamming her. She said the haters. That's very vague, but given that a lot of people seem to be commenting about her homophobia, I'm gonna assume it's that. Because I honestly, if it were one or two people, that's one thing, but it's been quite a few that's talking about it from 2015. And then she says, I've gotten hate before, people lying about me, spam people with false or confused information. It's happened to her before. She's used to it by now. That sums up the first paragraph. And she said it's nothing much to worry about. The second paragraph is what I wanted to get more into. I'm gonna read it out. But anyway, the reason why I left was mainly because DeviantArt has been a very big stressor in my life for years, and I realized the other day that I was letting myself get beat down as well as beating myself down, and that it wasn't fun anymore. There are super sweet people on DeviantArt, and most of my best friends are on there, and I love them so much, so it really is hard for me to leave DeviantArt. But I realized that most of my memories, besides the ones with friends, are bad memories, and mostly just stress and having people angry with me. I'm not here to hurt people. I'm here to do art, make friends, and have fun. And all three of those was crushed. A lot of my goals in life have been crushed as well, in my mind at least. And until I can feel okay, I don't think DeviantArt needs to be in my life. I've been posting less and less on DeviantArt because I was afraid to make art. And that's the whole reason I was on there. So I hope everyone can understand why I left. I know there's a lot of people out there who have been so kind to me, and for them, I'm so grateful for the kindness and caring towards me. I'm not mad at anyone, and I'm not blaming anyone for making me leave. I just think it was holding me back. As well as many of my characters, a lot of them just hold a lot of hurt in my life. And many of my OCs have been holding me back as well. I left so I can continue making art without being scared all the time. And again, I'm not here to hurt people, but I felt like no matter what I did, someone was either going to lie about me or take something I said as offensive. And that's the last thing I wanted to do is hurt people. I never want to. I only want to bless people and make them happy. Which, I mean, I don't doubt that, but at the same time, while I do think she's being genuine with that, I also think that she doesn't realize what her words are doing to harm people at times. Then she just thanks people for her support. I'll put the screenshot on the screen while I do this. There's that whole situation. What I find weird is that she came back to DeviantArt a month later under a different username. And it's kind of weird that she was saying it was holding her back before and it was stressful for all these years, only to come back for a month, like, no, sorry, only to come back a month later, and yeah, I don't get it. That's all I really have for an update regarding 2015, but that was a while ago. My only issue is that she hasn't changed since 2015. Otherwise, if this was all just from 2015, I wouldn't care. I honestly wouldn't. I was horrible in 2015, I understand, but people can change, and it seems like she hasn't from those views. And then okay, now we get more into the transphobia. I'm gonna put an image on the screen now, and it's from her ex. It was okay, so it's two people on Twitter talking. The one on the left, I don't know names. I don't know their names. I think the one on the left is I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm sorry about that. I'll just say person one and person two. So person one, which is her ex, said, honestly, it's roundabout now that I kind of wish I hadn't deleted the things she said to me. This is still peak loop logic, even if I don't have the screenshot of her saying. And it says, but people like to get so mad at straight people. So if I was a guy or non-binary or something, then maybe people would be fine. I don't know. Because then I'd be gay or whatever. And you have no idea how ignorant that statement is itself. That is crazy to me. Like, I don't understand how you, as a straight person and a cis person, get more hate than a gay person. That makes no sense to me. I don't think you understand the harassment and bullying that LGBT kids go through, whether they're popular or not. Not even just kids. Um, the thing that's happening in Poland is a clear reason of why it's hard to be who you are in a lot of places. And I get in the States, it's probably easier than most of the other countries, but it's still a problem. There's still bullying, there's still issues, there's still discrimination. Okay, it's okay. I don't get it. Straight people aren't impressed. Being gay or lesbian, it's harder than it ever is to be straight, at least in this point in time, and I'm sure it's gonna be like that for many years to come. And then someone accounted misgendering of her ex. And apparently this happened pretty often, but this is just someone's account. I Even though I believe them, it's not clear proof for everybody. So I wouldn't blame you for being skeptical. I'm skeptical too of some of these things, but given what I've seen, I tend to go on the side of those who are making the accusations because they honestly, it looks like they're true. If all these people are coming out about it, there has to be at least a little bit of truth to this, and I just that's not good. So I will read out what this person said. And it says it's at a con, I think, because it says the con. I have a screenshot of who this is. It'll be in the drive. In this thing I have pulled up right now, I'm not in the drive. I'm pulling it from a different document, so I don't have the screenshot of who said it, but it will be in the drive, I'm fairly certain. Don't quote me on that. I think I have them though. So let me read this out. The con. Two major things of note happened at the conversation. No. Two major things of note happened at the convention I went to Loop with. Loop talked to me about Jensen, to a stalker. I will not be discussing details about the story Loop told me at the convention about her ex. It was a personal story, and I'm not about sharing people's personal stories, no matter how shitty they are. I can agree with that. Unless the story was like harmful in some way, I'll agree with that. Like, unless, let's say, the person said, oh, yeah, in this story, they murdered someone, for example. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's not okay. But, like, if it's something private that isn't actively harming anyone, I wouldn't say it's an issue. So, going on, they say, I didn't know Jensen. I met Luke post Jensen. I vaguely knew of him, but not enough to know what I was being told was about Jensen until after I talked to Loop's friends after I talked to Loop's longer friends about Jensen. As you guys probably know, Jensen was Loop's ex and also trans. All that info is public. When Loop was talking to me, she referred to him as my ex and she or her. At the time, I remember thinking, huh? Luke dated a girl? Because I had no idea, and it was surprising to me, since everyone told me she was straight. But I shrugged it off because questioning sexuality happens and all that. It was more like a huh moment. I had no clue the extent of what I was listening to. The story's contents aside, Jensen was identifying as he, him, a trans man, as long as Luke knew him, according to those I talked to. This info was revealed to me only post-con. Had I known before, I probably would have said something. She deliberately was misgendering her ex to my face, and I had no clue. It makes me feel so disgusting for participating in the conversation at all. I don't care how much the person hurt you. Misgendering is not okay. After finding this out, it made me think about the misgendering that occurred to me. If it was only me, I wouldn't have said anything despite how it affected me, since I never got the chance to talk to Luke directly about it. But after this, I can't help but see it as possibly intentional. Okay, my voice is kind of strained, but I just got some water, so I think I'll be good. I've just talked about the whole experience. that the person had with Loop. And again, it'll be in the drive who said it, I'm pretty certain. And the next thing I cover in this was the whole trans flag thing, but I covered that in the last video. What she said was it's sexual and related to causes, but she didn't specify with that. She just said related to causes, I believe. I don't have the screenshot in front of me, so don't quote me on that again. I do know for a fact, though, that she said it was sexual, which it is not inherently sexual. Her apology video wasn't some quick thing either. I've seen some people saying that, and I highly doubt it was, and I will tell you why. They're saying, oh, she probably just said that because she didn't think the video through, she didn't think what she was gonna say. And the thing is, someone else confronted her before she made the video. Jaspy Waspy or King Jaspy on Twitter. I feel silly saying Jaspy Waspy, but it's also fun, so you know, whatever. I don't know their pronouns. I just have an archive here. And I'm going to read out what they said, and I'm going to read out the Discord messages that were sent, and I'll put them on screen. Jasp said, I just want to come forward and say that I don't associate with LupisVulpes any longer. Yes, she was my friend, and yes, the things she said took a big toll on my mental health. I cannot in any right mind condone the things she said about the LGBTQ community. For context, I was friends with Lupus since 2014, a moderator on her live streams, as well as a mod on her Patreon Discord. The entire time, I had been transparent with my identity as a trans-masked, non-binary person, and from my point of view, she respected that. 2017-ish is when she did the Pride Adopts. I received the original one as a gift, so nobody profited off that one. And she had no problem drawing my persona, my partner's persona at the time when we both identified as masks. She also mentioned making a character from Captain and his crew, Marlin, gay, if I remember correctly. A year or two ago, she became a lot more withdrawn from people she had called her friends, despite invitations to go hang out, talk, play games, etc. I was friends with her on Facebook, and I noticed her sharing a lot of religious scripture, which I had no problem with. I realized that not every religious person is bigoted. I know a lot of very kind Christian allies, as well as LGBT Christians. Things got kind of sus when she started sharing pro-life things, however. She asked me to mod her Patreon server, and I accepted, because I thought we were still friends. However, she seemed to want to avoid conflict at all costs, even when this meant that people were let into her Patreon server who posed a potential threat to the rest of the individuals in there, many of them minors. Myself and other mods received a lot of complaints, but when we brought this up to Loop, she brushed them off as, well, they haven't done anything bannable yet, despite some people being in the server being triggered and leaving by the presence of these other people. When Milo approached me with the screen caps of Loop not wanting to draw the pride flag, despite her not having a problem with it years ago, I immediately went to her about it, trying to explain the importance of pride. I tried to be gentle, since I thought she was just a confused person with the right intentions, as she had been in the past. But her response made me frustrated and hurt. I know I should have spoken up about this when it happened. It happened at a point in time where I was really emotionally vulnerable. I had just come out to my parents and was in the process of moving apartments and was just mentally exhausted overall. So I apologize for this. Anyways, she closed the Patreon server and we haven't talked since. I'm bitter. I'm bitter and angry. I had no idea that she treated Jensen so poorly during their relationship in regards to his gender. I had no idea that she said homophobic things about hidden agendas. Had I known that she didn't respect my identity, I would have cut ties a lot sooner. I kept giving her second chances because I honestly believed she was a good person. Emily, my identity isn't a choice. It isn't politics. It's who I am. And if you don't respect that, then you don't respect me. I'm sorry that this took so long to post. Life has been really overwhelming and things are hard for me to process for the past couple of months. So that was the initial big post that Jess made. And then we have, I don't know their pronouns again, so I'm gonna use they, them. I have what they wrote to her, and her response. So first I'm gonna read out what Jaspering said. Hey, can I talk to you about something? It's in regard to the use of pride flags in your work. I know you've probably gotten DM'd about this before by Milo or Lucas, but I'm a little confused. Especially since you did make pride adoptables with Jensen in the past. I understand if your experience with him is kind of soured. The whole pride movement for you, but to me, a lot of your audience, most of us which are LGBTQ, it's shocking and a little hurts and a little it is shocking and a little hurting to hear that you it is shocking and a little hurting to hear that you see pride flags as anything sexual, which they aren't. I understand that when you're a straight woman, it can seem like LGBT people are rubbing their orientation in other people's faces. But to many of us, being told the majority of our lives that our identities are wrong and need to be fixed, finding our identities and being comfortable with them is really important to us. Pride isn't supposed to make other people feel bad. It's an act of defiance against those who try to oppress our identities. I don't want to seem like I'm accusing you of anything or that I'm lecturing you. I just hope that this cleared things up. I know it can be hard to understand from an outsider's point of view, but I want you to know that I want to help you know what's up if you're willing to listen. It's just a really important topic to me, Kai, Yan, and a majority of your fans. I just want to help you understand how important my identity is to me and other people. It's who I am. Then LupisVulpes responded with, or LupisVulpes, I don't know. You think I can pronounce things? Well, she responded with, "Hey Jasp, thank you for sharing your heart with me on this matter. I know and understand how important it is to you and the rest of my friends on here. If I'm honest, it's a little hurtful to think people feel compelled to talk about me behind my back just for living and doing art the way I choose to. As a follower of Jesus, I love everyone because God is love. I love you and the others too. Not because you guys are following me, but because you all are important human beings who deserve respect. But because you are all important human beings who deserve to be loved, understood, and respected. I respect you and the others and how they want to live their life, and I care deeply for you guys, and I would not keep you or the others from living the way you choose to. The thing is, okay, I'm gonna interrupt here. I'm gonna just get my thoughts on this. I'm not finished reading this part yet. But we don't choose to live like this. We're born like this. We don't choose this. I'm just gonna say that now. Okay, going on with what she was saying, after she said that, she said, "But I would hope that my choices would be respected too. For what I feel comfortable doing, I have set boundaries for what I want to draw, and I felt I was doing I have set boundaries for what I want to draw, and I felt I was okay in doing so. Which you are, but not when the reason is based in homophobia and transphobia." Again, that was me jumping in. Okay, going on again. Sorry. I understand. I think I misspoke in saying the sexual thing, and I don't see you guys as sexual people or anything crazy like that. So I'm sorry for saying the wrong thing and offending you. That is absolutely not my intention. You and I have been friends for years, and I hope you understand my heart on the matter. I know this message will probably be spread around too, which is fine, but I'd appreciate if you didn't join in on the others in gossiping about me. Okay, there's a few things wrong here. First of all, calling sexual people crazy. Personal opinion. You do what you want as long as you're not hurting anyone. People who are sexual aren't hurting anyone unless they're forcing it onto others. Like, literally, like, forcing them to do things. Or, like, making advances that are unwanted. Stuff like that. But if they're both consenting adults, I don't see an issue. And then calling it a choice. It's not a choice. It's not. I don't know why she called it a choice. I don't know if it's just because of what the I don't know if it's just because not a lot of Christians, but you'll find certain sects of Christianity. For example, the Latter-day Saints and Jehovah's Witness, and more extreme Catholicism will say stuff like that. So I'm not sure if she's just repeating those points or if that's what she genuinely believes. I do want to know what sect of Christianity she is in, because I'm really curious as to what specifically her beliefs are on a lot of subjects. And to me, it's interesting to see if people are in cults or not. So I don't know if she has been. I don't know if she is in a cult or has been in a cult. And people are saying, "Oh, well, cults will like not let you go on social media." That's not inherently true. I'm no expert, but I do like reading up on a lot of these things, and I listen to a lot of channels talk about it. One of my favorites being Telltale, and while they do usually restrict information, they they understand it's harder to do that too, and they don't exactly always discourage it. It highly depends on what cult you're dealing with. From what I know, I could be wrong. I'm no expert, like I said. I'm just going based off of what I've heard and read up on. I link Telltale's. I'll link Telltale's channel in the description. You can check it out for yourself. What I do find is annoying is that, like I said, her apology wasn't something that was just put together quickly. She uses the same exact excuses, putting it on God, in this response. And that shows me that this wasn't just, oh, she just didn't know how to respond. No, that's not what happened. I don't believe it is. She's refusing to give an outright answer, it seems, and putting it on God. Okay, so now I'm going to cover some of the racist things. At the end of the last video, I said I didn't have proof of her being racist. This is one instance, was her... Someone sent me something saying one instance was her naming a species darky, which I could see being a mistake when you're younger, or you don't exactly read the room properly. Like, I can see how that would be a mistake, but that's not my place to forgive her for that, at all. And I don't even know her intention behind it, but either way, that does not sound good. And then, not only that, but there's a lot of stereotypes to do with Native American culture and using certain words that shouldn't be used. That as far as I know, it was a word that shouldn't be said, and it's horrible. And it wasn't a slur. It wasn't a slur. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people thinking that. You'll see in the description what I put and the history on it if I can find sources to that, which I will. I know I will. I don't know why I said if I, because I know where the sources are. I just don't have them in front of me right now. But there's proof on the screen right now of not only just... I was told it's not just Native American appropriation, it's just blatant racism from the stereotypes. And I will put what someone said about it on... And I will put what someone said about it on screen now. I'm not going to read this one out because you can pause the video and read it, and I'm not going to read this one out only because I don't want to speak over anyone's voice. I am not Native American. I can't speak on this. I can't say anything about this. And then more stuff from her ex, which this was person 1, person 2, her ex. I don't remember her ex's name now. It was in a different statement, but I forgot her ex's name, so I'm gonna go with person 1 and person 2 again. Person 1's her ex, person 2 is the person receiving the message. Person 1 says she also, when we were on holiday together, I was talking about how nice it was gonna be to go on HRT, and she shouted at me for it. And then person 2 said, holy shit, oh my god. And then person 1, the ex, said, sorry, my alarm has been going off like crazy, so I was being right back. But she did loads of stuff like that, which is why it's frustrating to see people trying to excuse it for uninformed, because she was informed plenty. I do think maybe her parents got in her head. And that's just from the screenshot. It should be on screen right now. And that's not okay. Shouting at someone for going on HRT isn't okay, especially when HRT can be life-saving in the way that the person does not kill themselves or commit suicide. And honestly, that's like... And I get it has its issues. It can have its issues. And of course, I would encourage people to make sure they're aware of the side effects beforehand. But most people do know the side effects. They do know what they're getting into. There's a small percentage of people, there's detransitioners who got off it, and I love reading their stories. I empathize. I love reading their stories, and I'm trying to understand, because I'm trans. I am not I am not a detransitioner, but I do want to learn about that community. I do want their voices to be heard as well, because I feel like they're so often drowned out, or they're afraid, or they're associated with turfs, which isn't always the case at all. It's not the case for the most part. It's just a small group of detransitioners that are turfs, but there's a lot that aren't, believe it or not. But that's a whole other video. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. I we love unmedicated ADHD. Okay, so getting back to this other stuff, there's been allegations now that I didn't cover in my previous video about tracing and using bases without being told to. I'll put the stuff on screen because I'm not going to read out her journal because there's nothing there. It's just pictures I can really show for this right now. There's nothing I can really show that, there's nothing I can really say or read anything out that would help this. So I'm just going to put the images on screen and yeah. And then it was never confirmed, it was never said that she was using a base in the initial post, as you can see. So a lot of people were pretty mad about that, but I couldn't find the base. But I'm not sure if she just made a base and was using that base over and over again, or what. But either way, that should be said if you're using a base. And this happened 2 times. And then this other one I'm putting on screen now is the one that they said was traced, which I can't tell. I honestly think it was just heavily referenced. But again, I can't tell. I'll try putting it side to side. I don't know. I'll do that. But I really can't say anything about this. I can't tell if it's just heavily referenced or blatantly traced. And I can't... Okay. You can't unoppose. But if it is traced, that's not good. And if something is heavily referenced, and it's not just the pose, which I can see some of the fur tufts looking exactly the same placement, which is why I'm a bit confused. I think you should give credit if it was like really, really heavily referenced. And then we have this situation. I'll just put all of this on screen, but basically, I'm going to read out what it says from the Beware, because that sums it up better than I can. I'm bad at summaries, but I went through all of this, and I'll link it below to the specific stash with the proof. It says, Mio asked Lupus if he could commission her for the old Venus Ambassador video with Oxy to be finished and fully animated, but to fix the ending so it didn't end with suicide. Instead, Mio wanted the ending to be Oxy coming out as transgender rather than it ending on such a grim note. After this inquiry, Lupus ghosted Mio and never responded to him. Lupus then went ahead and sold the Venus Ambassador commission to Gitsu Galaxy without telling Mio beforehand at all. Whenever Mio asked Lupus about it again, she told him she was no longer going to pick up the Oxy version of Venus Ambassador, where it once left off because she had already taken Kitsu's money. This deeply hurt Mio, especially since he had messaged Lupus before Kitsu, and yet she still avoided him. It is suspected that this was essentially Lupus' way of going behind his back to avoid working with an LGBT subject, considering everything that's happened regarding the topic in general. Wouldn't surprise me. Again, nothing surprises me at this point. And then there was the DMs with Mio, and I'll put that on screen too. I could read this all out, but my voice is getting strained, and there's still more stuff to come. So I don't want to do that. You can thank allergies for that. Goddamn. But there on screen now should be and Mio talking, and yeah, all that. There you go. You can pause. And what's funny to me is it's interesting how I've not seen people attack her specifically for being Christian, but for being homophobic and transphobic, and her response was her saying that people were trying to tell her to basically get away from Christ, which isn't what we're attacking you for. And if you're taking people calling you out for transphobia and homophobia as an attack on you, like as an attack on you believing in Christ, that's a you problem. That's horrible that you would even associate with that, but it's also kind of like, it's not a confirmation per se, but it does make me very, very suspicious. Like, why would you say that otherwise? Then, she has been ghosting people for refunds. This is something more recent. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say she hasn't seen stuff, okay? But the thing is, these people have been asking for refunds for over 10 days now, some of them. And she responded to a couple of people, as far as I know, but not a lot. And again, I'm going to say maybe she just didn't see it yet. I am hoping she did. but honestly, I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. So I'm going to read out what this screenshot says here. So this is the one for the refund. And like I just said, it's interesting with the whole God thing again. Lupus says, "Hey, thanks for your message. I'm saddened by your decision, however, I will honor it. You will receive a refund in 30 to 60 days. Unfortunately, due to some car trouble, I am not able to make an immediate refund for you. I'm sure you understand, since I took your order in good faith, not expecting this request. That said, as you may imagine, referring to your reasoning, it has been hard to be bullied online, especially by people I once considered friends. You should be aware, I have never spoken down to or belittled anyone for their choices or beliefs, and never will. Even though being trans, LGBT, anything like that is not a choice. So I don't know what you're saying by choices again. I'm gonna calm myself, because, oh my god, I get where she's coming from. I used to be like this. I used to be a lot like this. But it's also infuriating to read when she's been informed so many times. Going on, she said, even those who lie and slander about me, I will never speak down to TLDR. Instead, I have tried to be respectful of all because I know so well how precious they are and how much God loves each one. Even so, those who choose to bully are spreading lies about me and trying to deny my right to follow Christ and live my life the way I choose. Being phobic of LGBT people is not following Christ. It's not okay. Being a Christian doesn't mean you're automatically homophobic and transphobic. And though you've been subtle about it, this just kind of rubs me the wrong way, the way you're talking about it, and not outright denying this, and not outright proving that you're not against this. And that's really suspicious to me. Because why would you be playing all these gymnastics and jumping through loops just to not give anyone an answer? And then she says, "It's sad, but I can't control others' opinions or behaviors. I don't wish any bad will towards anyone." And then again, expect the refund whenever. And then responding to people who want a refund after, and then not responding to people who want a refund after commissioning her, before the commission was done, as far as I know, of course. I understand not getting a refund after it's done, because I'm the same way. But if it's before it's done, usually they refund, and Lupus, to my knowledge, does refund. And like I said, I'd rather be lighter on someone than harder on them, but I'm still gonna read this out anyways. It just says there's a bunch of emails going to Lupus saying that they want a refund. And as far as I know, this has been going on since last Monday. So, and still no response as far as I know. I don't know if there has been a response after making this video or like right when I post this or whatever. But yeah, that's what I know about that. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt for now. I really am. I don't trust it, but whatever. To do with her apology video, she monetized it, and her quote-unquote apology video, I should say, it wasn't an apology, it was just a response that meant nothing, in my opinion. She was monetizing it, which, I mean, you do what you want, monetize what you want, but at the same time, it does make it seem disingenuous. And then, like I mentioned earlier with the Discord, there was potentially abusers in there that she ignored because she did not want conflict, which I can respect not wanting conflict, but ignoring abusers because of it is not good. And Conley said, I think that says Conley, "I don't mean to start anything or come across as rude, but I feel really, really uncomfortable being in the same server as this person," and they blocked it out. "But I just want to let you know in case you didn't know about it," and then blacked out again. "It makes me really upset because I want to support you and be in the server with you because I miss talking to you, but I don't know if I can. But I don't know if I can stomach being in the same room as someone who's okay with these kinds of things. Spoiler, because very not safe for work and frankly disgusting." And then, spoiler, again, I'm sorry. Lupus responded with, "I didn't know. I'm not sure if I can do anything to remove them unless they broke one of the rules in the group. I'm really sorry. I hate that. I had no idea they were into any of that. I only know them for the animations. I'm sorry though, I can keep an eye out to make sure things are safe, but I understand your discomfort. Again, sorry. I mean, again, she seems genuine, but that's not. Honestly, you can get rid of someone if they don't break the group rules, but they're in. If they don't break the group rules, but you know they're endangering minors, it's not good to do that. And then apparently she made a very vague announcement. I have the screenshot here. I'll put that on the screen too. It says, "Good morning, everyone. Beginning today, we are moving our activity over to Patreon instead of the Discord server. There you'll find giveaways, live streams, and request streams and other activities happening weekly, which we don't need to know about that. Like, this is just the basic stuff from her group. And then this is where it comes in. There are several reasons why we take this action. The most important is over concern for the safety of our group and the individuals who participate. This server doesn't provide the security that we would like to see in place. That said, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks, guys." And I mean, it's kind of weird that you acknowledge it, but then don't do anything about it. Like, I'd say yes, look into accusations more if you don't believe it at first. That's what I'm doing with this. And not because I didn't believe it at first, but just because I was, like, really into, like, what's going on now. All of my favorite creators in the past are turning out to be these horrible people, or just believing things that are extremely harmful, not necessarily horrible people all the time. Because I say that because some of them have been outed as pedos. Not lupus, other ones, but that's off topic. And then, though the announcement was made, I mean, if it's true, it's yikes, but the announcement was made, which makes me think there's, like, some truth to it. And then there was accusations of abuse as well, a few, and I will read those out, and I'll put the screenshots and such. I'll put like everything on screen in a second, and again, all of this is going in the description. So it's gonna be a pain to read this out. So Worm had a statement, and I'm gonna call the person in blue Morgan, because that's a good gender neutral name. Whatever. And then the other one is Worm, which is giving their account. So Morgan said, "No, you're good. I'm doing alright. I just have work tomorrow, so I can't stay up as much as I wanted to, and you're welcome." And then Worm sends, "By the way, this part, I'm pretty sure she admitted this to me, that you drove her to it, and she even did that drawing based on it." Oh, also, that's what Worm sent. And then Worm also said, "Oh, also, I just learned this yesterday, but a friend told me that she actually did blame me for self-harming in that one incident. So I have confirmation she was purposely manipulating me there. And about the pic, it's pretty graphic and depicts self-harm. I didn't want to just send that to you." Morgan said, "I'm alright seeing the actual pic, thank you for the warning. But wow, what the fuck? I'm so sorry, man. I hope you're doing alright after learning this." Worm said, "Absolutely. And yeah, I'm okay. It was hard to hear, but I'm glad I was able to get that piece filled in. It was this pic, and trigger warning for self-harming. I'm going to put it on the screen now for about 3 seconds. Just skip 5 seconds ahead or whatever if you don't want to see it right now. 1 second from now, I'm going to put it on the screen. So, yeah." And then Morgan said, "Oh my god, I remember this piece too. I'm sorry, man. I'll let the group chat know when I go on break here. I brought up one point to of the burden of proof for guilt tripping and threats of self-harm and stuff from manipulation. Would you have access to more old logs concerning that through your phone or Discord?" And then Worm said same, which is even more messed up because she posted it knowing I would see it and have no clue it was about me. Looking through, I only really have instances of her being passive aggressive and lying to me, which is the gaslighting I was talking about. She would clearly show she was upset with me, and then when I pressed her on it, she'd go, "Huh? What are you talking about?" Oh, she also would tell me about when she was self-harming in a hey, because we are friends and I trust you, I'm going to describe my urges and actions to you in explicit detail, sort of way. It was pretty weird because I was just 16 and she'd get pretty graphic sometimes. I know that happened a lot, but I can only find one example at the moment. Worm said, "Do you want to talk?" I guess not. "Well, I hope you're okay. Please stay safe. And know you're loved. Sorry if I bothered you. Sorry, I'm being put into a hospital." Worm said, "Gosh, why, what happened?" And Lupus said, "I had a plan to kill myself tonight." Worm said, "Sorry, I had to breathe. I'm glad you were stopped, but I hate for you to go to another hospital. I just wish I could do more to help. Has something been going on?" And Luke just said, I've just been suicidal every day before work. It scares the hell out of me. And then Worm said, God, oh my god, I also found the day she was being sent to the hospital. This is the visit she later claimed that was my fault in her next text. This is the visit she later claimed was my fault in her last text. Like, I can see why she wouldn't tell me in the moment, but keeping that from me and instead choosing to play with my head and later pull out that info as a gotcha, just to traumatize me, feels so... I can't even put it into words. Morgan said, oh my god, what is wrong with her? That is sickening and particularly traumatizing being so young. This is just this is just awful. Have you ever seen a therapist or a psychiatrist for this kind of manipulative stuff you've been going through? Worm said, yeah, I swear to god it messed Worm said, yeah, I swear to god it messed me up for so long because I would never in a million years want to do that to someone, especially not the person that I considered the best friend to me at the time. Even today, I get so paranoid that my friends are secretly mad at me and just not saying anything about it, and I have wicked abandonment issues. I have. I got a therapist just last year, but it's been nice having someone to talk about managing my symptoms and learn to get some self-confidence back. I've made huge strides on my own since then. And I think I finally have people in my life I can be myself around. But it's been a hard journey. And then Morgan just responded, you'll see that on the screen now, you can pause. I don't think it has anything of importance. I don't think it has anything relating to lupus in this last bit, so I'm just gonna leave that on the screen. We have her ex's statement. Jensen. That's his name. His name is Jensen. So Jensen and then Morgan again. Again, Morgan is not the blue person's name. I just went with that because I'm like gender neutral name, whatever. So Jensen said, this isn't that personal. It was shitty of me to do, but the reason she probably said the breakup was bad because she said we can stay friends and then stopped speaking to me, so I sent her somebody that I used to know by Goit. The stopping speaking to people is a thing she does commonly, it seems. To be sassy, not maliciously. And then she reacted, understandably, badly. But then I agreed with her and I thought we left on good terms again, but apparently I cursed her. I'm wondering if that's why she said you were so clingy to her. She said the reason for the curse was because you didn't want to let her go or something. And then there's a picture of a drawing that Lupus did, which says, if someone ever takes you away from me, I'd rather eat you? I think that says eat. I don't know if it's eat or pet. Hold up. Okay, I think that says eat, but I could be wrong. This was addressed to me, is what Jensen said. Morgan said, see in any other situation, I'd find that a funny meme thing, but the context seems like it wasn't meant memey, huh? And then there was a different thing saying faster slave that Lupus drew, and it was like, I'll show the picture on screen. And Jensen said, like, she would have tantrums whenever I had to go to sleep for work, even though I'd stay up till 3 a.m. on my end to get up at 7 a.m. Morgan said, oh my god, was it a time difference thing? Jesus, I'm so sorry, that sounds so toxic. And then Jensen said, I'm sadly British. I bet that sometimes I put my foot in it and say things that hurt her feelings. Like, I said once I wouldn't watch her because I wasn't... Like, I said once that I wouldn't watch her because I wasn't keen on sparkle dogs. But I apologized profusely, and I never physically hurt her, and if I messed up like that, I always apologized. And then Morgan says, oh yeah, she told me that you changed your DA name to yours as well by force. Like, you hacked her account maliciously. And then Jensen said that was a prank. I asked her permission for it. She said it would be funny. I never did anything without her permission. I had to ask her if I could play video games with friends. Morgan then said, wait, that was actually secondhand info she told her friends, that who then mentioned it to me. What on earth? I'm just shocked to hear it goes deeper. Shocked, but still not surprised. And then Jensen posted the screenshot and said, this is kind of cringy and sappy, but this is how I used to speak to her. Sleep drunk just means tired. I'm epileptic and actually can't drink because it negates my medication. Morgan then said, yeah, I'm familiar with the term. No worries, I use it too. I'm not gonna read that out. I'm just gonna put that on screen because I can't say those words. Not that I can't. I just like I don't feel comfortable saying that. And then Morgan said, I won't share anything you say unless you give me permission in case you're worried about that. And Jensen said, I'm fine with you sharing it, not the big oof thing. That makes me feel ill if other people knew about it. But you can share other things. Also, and there was that, this event she did is literally her killing a stand-in for a minor. Yo, okay, sorry, this is my first time reading this one, and I didn't know that part. Like, I saw the beginning of this, and like, okay, I'll read out his statement. And then I didn't scroll down this far, so now I'm just seeing this part. I'm like, yo, okay. Morgan said, yeah, no worries, I won't share anything you don't want to be shared, but a stand-in for a minor, and then it was Twitter person. We used to be friends, and Loop thought he had a crush on me and got very jealous. That's why it's a bird in Sad's mouth, because they went by Bird. I will admit me and Bird are not on good terms because Loop told me he was harassing her and I fell for it. And I can't say thank you enough for coming forward. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and merely the pronoun thing validated what I had said. Because it takes effort to misgender someone after spending years using the right ones, so it's clear to me that that was a conscious effort. Morgan said, yeah, I'm glad I came forward too. I'm so extremely anxious and I feel like I'm overreacting. And then Jensen said, yeah, I think everyone who's come forward probably feels similar. She has a weird way of getting in your head and making you feel like you're overreacting. But she's also convinced me that, oh, Worm, Mags was abusive and obsessive after she ditched. You can include these screenshots too, because I got in touch with the friend after we had the conversation. But that's her being jealous of a fictional dad in the game Dream Daddy. And then I'll put the screenshots on the screen. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think I'm gonna put the Discord tag. It is in the links below, but I don't want to put the Discord tag. I want anyone to just go like, it says currently inactive here, so I don't know if they will be active again. I don't want people to harass them or anything, so I'm just gonna like leave that. And then lastly, this is the last thing I'm covering here. Oh God, I've covered so much. It's over an hour. I'm sure this recording is like over an hour by now. Okay, the last thing I'm covering is someone else's experience with lupus, and this is the last one. It's 11 pages long though, so we're in for a ride. So, trigger warning for self-harm and suicide mentioned, so just skip this last part. Skip it if you're not okay with it. So, I'm going to start reading the document. The document says, these are from about 3 years ago. I went by Knight and Raven and used she, her back then. I was at the brink of turning 16 at the time, so if I sound young, that's why. She was 18 then. About 6 months after the events detailed here, I took the initiative to reach out to her because I wanted closure, and she gave me a very weak apology, amounting to, I don't remember most of what happened, but I'm sorry if I hurt you. I thought she'd changed from there, but I later found out she was talking about me behind my back and spreading misinformation about how these events played out so she could victimize herself. So, that apology was null and void. I'm not making this post for people to go after her. I'm making it so I can move on with my life and put this to rest. For context, Lupus and I had been best friends for about 2 years prior to this message. We talked almost every day and both expressed that we were each other's best pals and stuff like that. Well, it came to a point where my mental health was starting to take a turn because of things online and school-related depression. For my own safety, my mom made me take a 2-week long mental health break from texting, social media, everything. During the break, I became really close to my During the break, I became really close to my IRL friend Alyssa, so when my break was finally done, I considered her a best friend of mine too. Completely normal. Well, it wasn't long before I started to get really upset, because Lupus and I suddenly weren't talking like we used to, and I was scared. I thought she was jealous of Alyssa. So I straight up asked her if she still wanted to be friends and if Alyssa bothered her. I cared about Lupus and her feelings so much that I was willing to drop all mention of Alyssa right then and there. In the end, she expressed that she still wanted to be friends, and in regards to if Alyssa made her uncomfy, notice she said no. Okay, fast forward to it. Lupus had actively seemed to be treating me differently ever since I got back from the 2-week break I mentioned in the last bit of text. Little things started to add up and bother me. When we text now, she would go super long without responding, and her messages started to turn a bit cold and abrupt. It's odd to go from talking and joking constantly for 2 years to hardly talking at all. And all this out of the blue. I like to think my concern was justified. And all this was out of the blue, so I think my concern was justified. I also want to clarify, I would have no problem if you simply communicated to me and let me know she would be busy and would get back to me later. But she left me hanging and did stuff with people she knew had hurt me in the past. People she herself didn't even like at the time, so I was scared. I upset her or something. So I asked her about it. Luke said, I wanted to talk to you still. It's just hard right now. I'm talking to so many people. I apologize for secluding myself. If I'm very honest with you, some of it may be because I know you had your other best friend to talk to, so I've kind of figured that I shouldn't talk as much. Thanks. Yeah, I'm in partial hospitalizations, so I go home at night and go to the hospital every day. And then OP said, well, I thought you didn't need me at all because you had Jensen. And I understand. Hopefully you feel 100% soon. And that's cool that you don't have to stay all day. And then Lupa said, makes sense. Sorry for feeling so childishly. I usually try to suppress my jealousy. Thanks. Yeah, I'm not sure if any of it helps. And then going back to the document, it says, remember when she said she had no issue with Alyssa? Her answer confirms I wasn't making things up. She was actively ignoring me to punish me for having another close friendship outside of her. I was admittedly very petty and mature by bringing up Jensen, her boyfriend at the time, but I was frustrated and hurt by what she said. Jumping forward a bit again, I get messages from someone telling me that I hurt Lupus really badly because of the Jensen statement, and I should probably apologize to her. I was a bit taken aback because I felt she was the one who originally hurt me. So here is me questioning her about it. So Lupus said, sorry, I was driving home. There isn't anything to tell. Night, I'm just really tired from today. I can't think straight and my arm hurts bad from where I cut. I don't really know what to say. You're perfectly fine. I'm not upset with you, I promise. And then OP said, then what happened yesterday? Why did you have to tell an in-person? Lupa said, well, I guess it was about the Jensen thing or whatever, but that's the reason I cut and vented to person. And then Opie said, I made you cut. And then Lupa said, no, not you, me. I cut on my own. That was my choice, not yours. And then Opie said, God, Lupus, why drove you to us? I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And Lupus said, no, you didn't. You didn't try me to do anything. I took my scissors and did it myself to me. Don't apologize. It's not your fault or anything at all. And then to document again, Lupus has a really ugly habit. Lupus has a really ugly habit of manipulating her words a lot. She here clearly implies that I was the one that drove her to self-harm by comment. And then when I asked her about it, she tries to play semantics. Why even bring it up if she wasn't trying to guilt trip me and make me feel bad? As you can imagine, this entire situation was starting to have an adverse effect on my mental health, and I was really paranoid and upset. And, well, I guess you could tell because she asked me this out of the blue. Leva said, sorry, I know this is a random question and probably not my place to ask it, but are you suicidal? And then the response was, no, I have just been very down, like more than usual for the past few weeks or so, whenever I get home. I just felt like my friends were getting a lot more distant from me, and I experienced this horrible fear of being abandoned because it's always happened to me. And it just spread to the point where it made me start crying some days, and even made me wish I didn't wake up sometimes or imagine being dead, because I felt like people would be better off that way and not really care. But I have no interest in actually ending my life, don't worry. And the person says, note to pass off, this is called being passively suicidal, so long story short, yes, this situation made me suicidal. And then there's more text from OP, and I don't mind questions like that. You can ask me anything. And then Lupus said, oh, okay, glad you ain't suicidal, but yeah, I know what you mean, and I don't know friends always purposely leave. I mean, in my life, I've lost loads of friends, but it's mostly because of my life in general. There are seasons for everything, people come and go. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but I only say that out of caring for you. I know what it's like to mourn friendships. I've done my fair share of that, and I'm sure you have too. You're not better off dead, by the way. Oh god, this is so long. And then they responded, yeah, but I guess it hurt me so bad. Yeah, but I guess it hurt me so bad, most of all because I felt like I was losing you. The only two friends I consider my best friends and cherish literally the only two friends I consider best friends and cherish literally above all my other ones are you and Alyssa. So it destroys me on the inside to think that we're drifting away. That's why I questioned you and was probably considering and was probably pretty. That's why I questioned you and was probably pretty nasty to deal with in general. It wasn't to make you upset or to throw accusations around. It's 'cause I was legitimately terrified and thought I could fix stuff by talking it out. But I feel like you just made stuff worse. Sorry. And I I see you doing stuff with everyone and I see you doing stuff with everyone. I'm happy because you're having fun. Keep having fun, by the way. I really love hearing about you doing new stuff. But not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I always retain that fear. I'm always scared of being replaced or forgotten, and I'm sorry I take it out on you. You don't deserve that. Back to the document, so the screenshot. Before I get into it, I will say that I loved all my friends during that time very much, but I had to use language like I cherish you above all others to stroke her ego because I was scared of her leaving me. Six to read now, but I wasn't really thinking straight at the time. Anyone who knew LupisVulpes circa 2016 could tell you she was a lot worse off mentally. I have vivid memories of her venting frequently and live tweeting her self-harm suicidal ideations and I'm sure others and even she could confirm this. So when I look back on this message specifically, it makes me sad because it shows the reality of what our relationship had become. We called each other best friends, so naturally I felt responsible for her, and I grew quickly emotionally attached to her because of the severity of what she was going through. The nasty stuff I've been doing is just frequently questioning Lupe about the status of our friendship, because, y'all, I was terrified to lose her, and she was actively treating me much different than she ever had in our entire 2-year friendship. I see that this dependence was super unhealthy, and I 100% attribute it to me having to be available to her almost 24/7 because it seemed like every time I stepped away, she was at risk of self-harming or worse. I do not blame this on her. I just think it was an unfortunate side effect of the unpredictability of her mental health paired with me being a young, lonely, impressionable kid who had no prior experience with suicidal people. Our whole relationship turned into an unhealthy codependency, and the fact that she now suddenly changing and the fact that she was now suddenly changing the dynamic caught me off guard and I panicked a lot. I also consider our friendship to be more than just average Joe friendship, so it wouldn't just be, oh snap, there goes another one if I lost you. It would absolutely devastate me. Lupa said, I don't know what to say, I don't think I'm worth all that, but I do have lots of friends, lots of people all talking to me at once. I only keep a handful of people close to me. I've been trying to talk to you more, but I'm also still going to hang out with my boyfriend and his friends. And then the response was, of course, I never want you to stop. I don't expect you to stop talking to them for me. Oh my god. Random question, but do you still consider me a best friend? I remember we both agreed we were each other's best friend once, but if you feel differently, that's a-okay. I won't be upset or nothing, guys. I'm just curious. And then Lupa said, well, you were so concerned that I only had one best friend, which was you. I was obviously insulted when you started bragging about how cute your new best friend was. How could I not be insulted? Plus, if you really want to know what hurt me the most it was that I got into a bunch of things you weren't into, like Osamatsu-san and Blue Exorcist and a few other things. But it seemed like whenever I had something I got into, you never wanted to or never seemed but it seemed like whenever I had something I got into, you never wanted to or seemed interested. That's why I didn't get involved with your boyfriend app. And it seems like you care more about the app and anime than me, so it kinda is where I'm at now, but I have been trying to talk to you more. I miss our friendship, but you don't realize I've been hurt too. And then OP said this came completely out of nowhere. I'm still in shock by how quickly she snapped on me to this day, to be honest. And then again in the document. So let me break this down. She'd been lying to me about having a problem with my other friend Alyssa and gaslighting me to believe that I was imagining overreacting the deterioration of our friendship from the beginning. And she let her resentment for me fester instead of being truthful. And she let her resentment for me fester instead of being truthful with me when I asked her from the beginning. She then turned it around and blamed it on me for not reading her mind. She was mad at me because I didn't have time to devote myself to the things she was into at the time. I was going through a rough year at high school and was loaded with work. I simply didn't have time to watch all the recommendations, but I did always express interest to the best of my ability. And then this was their response. Lupus, when me and Alyssa became friends again, I tried to get you involved because I knew that if the same thing happened to me, I would be hurt. I wanted you guys to be cool with each other. Don't you remember I asked you about the group chat? And I've always talked about how much I adored and loved you on Twitter. I never stopped trying to give you attention while talking to Alyssa, because I didn't want you to be hurt. And God, I wish, I wish I could get into things and check. I wish I could get into things and check stuff out that you like, but my time is so limited. I gather up all these things. I never forget the stuff you tell me about, by the way, and I always plan to watch them for you, but something always comes up. Anyways, I thought our friendship was more than that. What about all the times I was there for you when you were in your worst times? What about when I gave you advice and never left your side no matter what? And what about when we stayed up late together and laughed and joked around? Gosh, I can understand you being mad, but this hurt me so much. I fantasized I fantasized about dying over this. And if I hurt you so bad, why didn't you tell me this? Why make me seem like the bad guy and continue to hurt you? I would never dream of hurting you. As much as I put our friendship and as much as I've put into our friendship and as much as I've done for you to make sure we're all happy as well, why would I ever dream of doing those things on purpose? And Lupus says, yeah, well, I've cut over this. I've fantasized to myself multiple times over this. This is the main reason I had to go to the hospital last time. I wasn't safe, and this isn't safe. And then they said, okay, I understand. If I'm hurting you, then you don't need to be around me. I really, really tried. I miss you. I'll miss you, but if you'll be safer without me, I understand. I love you enough as a friend to let you go if you'll be happier. I'm sorry for all the pain I caused you, Lupus. I really, really am. And Lupus said, I'm sorry for the heartache I've caused too. It was unintentional. And then OP said, well, I guess it's goodbye then. I never thought it would come to this, but that's life, I guess. And Lupus said, I guess. Maybe we can hang out some other time. I just need some space for now. Document says, so at this point she directly blames me for self-harm and almost taking her life, which isn't something you do to someone, especially a terrified and confused kid who you've been lying to and leading in circles over trivial stuff that could have been solved with a simple conversation, to be honest. This messed me up for so long because I was blamed. This messed me up for so long because I blamed myself for everything. And then they said, hey, I wish you happiness with your other friends and Jensen, bye. And then Lupa said, okay, and I wish you the same for Lissa, see you around. And then, back to the document, after this, my mother made me block Lupus and anyone that had anything to do with her because I came down to her room crying my eyes out. Looking back, I don't regret this at all, and I'm thankful to my mother for pushing me to do this. I didn't want Lupus to message me again on her own terms and just put me through the same roller coaster of emotions again. Enough was enough. I just needed a break and time to reflect. And my voice is getting tired out, so I'm just gonna put the last screenshot on screen here instead of reading it out. Yeah, you can see that there, and the last text total is her. And that's really all for this video. This is gonna be a long video. This is what I found. This is what I've seen with the proof, and that's about it.